Sometimes before you do a disservice to that young one, first think, what if your mother had done the same? Would you be the person you are now? It is a food for thought. I welcome you to today's show. I believe we are enjoying our weekends. We are enjoying the Friday. We are enjoying the mood. It is a weekend mood. But of course, this message is so important before we hand you over to your weekend. HealthPort is the program. Remember, this program is basically looking at maternal health and early childhood development. This program is brought to you by Makerere University School of Public Health, together with Family TV. Of course, all you need to do is, as long as it is a Friday and as long as it has clocked 7 p.m., just tune. Sit comfortably in your chair on that stool, or you who is watching us from your phone, just sit comfortably, your headsets in, and make sure you follow every bit of these sessions. And you will be blessed, I believe. Edwin Austin Mukalas is my name. Fatina Galenda, our sign language specialist. And like we promised you that we shall bring back Sarah to tell us more about breastfeeding. Sarah is back, and let us welcome her. Sarah, you're most welcome.
Thank you, Edwin.
Yeah, those people waited for you throughout the entire week, and we are glad that you're back today.
Thank you. Good evening, viewers. I'm happy to be here once again. I'll remind you my names. I'm Sarah Namtamba, and I'm here on behalf of Makerere University School of Public Health. And I will continue discussing here the issue of breastfeeding. Okay, Sarah, we are glad. Last time, of course, you told us a lot about breastfeeding, and maybe to the mother who is just watching us today, and you missed maybe last week's episode, they told us that breastfeeding is a practice. So, because it is a practice, it is not a one-day thing that you breastfeed today and then tomorrow it is over. No, it is a practice. It is something you have to do for a specific period of time, like Sarah will continue telling us. But of course, she had also told us about some of the common problems associated with breastfeeding. And Sarah, maybe you can take us briefly through these common problems, and then you also give us a remedy, or what should be done to arrest these problems. Thank you so much, Edwin, and the viewers. I want to continue discussing the common problems associated with breastfeeding. Last time when I was here, I talked about the problem of inadequate milk supply. Anytime you identify that a mother is not breastfeeding, there is need to first identify the problem. Identify the problem. If the problem is inadequate milk supply, you have to go ahead and investigate what could be the cause of this inadequate milk supply. Because we cannot afford to have a baby who is not eating. Even if it is an adult, if they are not eating, they will die of hunger. So the same applies to the baby. If the mother is not breastfeeding, then we have to investigate to identify the cause of that problem. And if the problem is inadequate milk supply, you have to investigate. There could be different causes of that. Perhaps it can be that the mother is not having enough food and drinks, and that one can cause the inadequate supply of breast milk. And if you investigate that it is the cause of the problem, then you have to go ahead and provide enough feeds, enough milk, enough drinks, and enough food at the right time to this mother, so that when she takes in, she can be able to produce enough milk for the baby.
We see very many mothers taking plenty of porridge. Is it one of the things they should do to boost the production of milk?
Yes, that is one of them. and many other feeds. Of course, you have to look at the locally available foods. So if posho is available, it is cheap, but it can be able to help this mother to produce enough milk. Then why not give this mother porridge? You give milk, cow milk. You can give tea, different drinks. You can give juice, and enough food, because this mother is eating for herself and she's also eating for the baby. So that one can be addressed that way. But you have to look at the locally available foods, which can help this mother to have enough food and also be able to provide milk for the baby. And then the other, another cause of that inadequate supply of milk is that the mother may be breastfeeding too infrequently. When you breastfeed a baby and it takes like 6 hours without breastfeeding, the message that will go, it will tell the supplier that there is no demand. So you can cut off the supply. So it means that this mother have to keep breastfeeding, such that the message it sends to the supplier will be like there's a lot of demand, so continue doing what? Supplying. That is how I can illustrate it. Yeah. So the infrequent breastfeeding can also cause inadequate supply of breast milk. That's why we advise mothers that when you have a baby, breastfeed at least after every 2 to 3 hours, such that the milk keeps producing. Yes. So this one can be done, and in most cases it can be addressed by the health workers themselves. They can counsel and advise this mother, because in the community there you can get different advices which may not be the best. They will tell you lots of things. They will tell you about the spirits. They will tell you about the child not being of that family, and you will continue depressing this mother, and the milk will be inadequate. And then if the cause is that the mother is not having enough rest, because it can also affect, then you advise this mother to have enough rest. When the baby is resting, the mother can also rest.
African mothers are so stubborn. They normally want to prove to everyone that they are so hardworking.
Exactly.
And in the constant approval of the hard work, they end up breaking down.
Yes.
And I think, is this what you're trying to talk about?
Yeah, that's why now these messages become very important. That when you hear them, you know what to do. It's not all about impressing the family where you got married, but you also have to take care of yourself and your baby. How are you going to impress the family if the child has died? Because you are not attending. It will
still get back to you.
It will still get back to you. So you have to know how to balance up these things. And we also talked about the problem of sore nipples. Yeah. Yes, it also has some causes why the nipples have sores.
There is some wrong information that circulates that maybe sometimes over breastfeeding causes that.
It may not be that. Actually, we shall talk about that one later, because it's not about over breastfeeding, but poor breastfeeding can cause that. It can cause those sores on the nipple.
Not excessive, but poor.
Poor. So we shall teach people how to breastfeed well, and that one will be addressed. So if you are not breastfeeding the right way, it can cause those cracks on the nipple. And if the nipple is not cracked, then the mother has to be advised how to breastfeed well. Or you can even put a warm compress on the breast, just to stimulate the breast. Yes. And then the other problem was sore breasts, where the breasts are tender, they are red. you have to find out. Maybe the mother has got a fever at the same time. Then that one you have to make sure that the mother sees a medical person. They go and they see a medical skilled health worker to treat them, to manage it at that level. So those, and actually all those problems, if you are not seeing any solution around, then you have to go to the health worker, and the health worker will advise you, and then you'll be able to manage those common problems. Okay. They are common in the community, but they are manageable. Yes.
Okay, I think let us break it at this. We'll go for a commercial break, and when we come back, of course, don't miss. Now Sarah is going to take us on how to breastfeed successfully. Don't miss, we are coming back shortly.
As you think about the Lord just taking over your case, and you are no longer in the midst of it, and he says, fear not.
Demons from the mountains, scream and leave.
In the name of
Demons from the graves, scream and leave in the name of Jesus.
Welcome back from that commercial break. This is Health Pot, brought to you by Makerere University School of Public Health, together with Family TV. And before we went for the commercial break, I promised you that when we come back, Sarah is going to take us through what we call successful breastfeeding. So Sarah, how can someone breastfeed successfully?
Thank you so much, Edrin. That is a very good question, because earlier we were talking about the common problems of breastfeeding. And now, when you talk about successful breastfeeding, it means we are going to address those common problems as well. There are ways you are supposed to breastfeed, and then that breastfeeding will be regarded successful. In breastfeeding, there is what we call good attachment. And I'll be showing you videos which are quite common to most people, because maybe they've watched them somewhere, but to others they are new. But they explain, they show how a successful breastfeeding can be. And that's when we talk about the good attachment of a baby. You know, when a baby is breastfeeding, the areola, you know, the dark part of the breast enters into the mouth of the baby. And that dark area around the nipple should be in complete contact with the averted lips of the baby, because the baby opens the lips and then the areola enters, and should be in complete contact, you know, such that it is not seen outside the mouth. That is what they call good attachment. And when you are breastfeeding, you make sure, just as you see in the video, you make sure that the black part of the breast, which is around the nipple, has fully entered the baby's mouth. This one is a challenge to many women, because I see many women breastfeeding, and you may realize that you are seeing a woman who has delivered maybe the 7th time, but they don't know how to breastfeed. They are still breastfeeding with challenges, and they are getting those cracked nipples, and they are stopping, they are beating the infants, because they feel that the infants they are inflicting them with pain as they breastfeed, not knowing that it is them who are not doing it the right way.
That is why we actually credit
yes,
Makerere University School of Public Health for coming up with such an opportunity to teach mothers on how to take on such things.
Yes. So we really want to see that this baby is well breastfed, with good attachment, with the areola or the black part around the nipple entering the open mouth of the baby, and then we don't want to see that that black part is visible outside the mouth. And while we are talking about this, some women say that when you put the whole areola inside the baby's mouth, it will become wide. It is not
the baby's mouth, or
that the baby's mouth will become wide. So they try to put only the front bits, and that's where the battle starts. They start beating the baby starts crying, because they are not doing it the right way, and that is not successful breastfeeding. Just like the way you are seeing in that video, the way that mother is breastfeeding, you can breastfeed when you are seated, you can breastfeed when you are lying, but still you can do it successfully. Yes.
Whichever posture, the step should be taken on cautiously.
Then there is what we call good positioning. The baby should be as close to the body of the mother as possible, and tilted slightly towards the abdomen, and then supported properly, with the hands of the baby. And then you put the breast, the breast in the baby's mouth. But mind about the positioning, because if the baby is not well positioned, if the head is tilted, the other way around, that baby is not going to breastfeed well. And at the end of it all, there is going to be war, because this baby is going to, the mother is going to feel pain around the breast, and then the baby will not adequately get enough milk that it needs. So that's what we need. We need the mothers. As you watch the video, you see how mothers have successfully breastfed their children, and then the babies end up get adequate milk supply, and the mother will not get these sores and other problems around breastfeeding. And then the baby also needs to be supported. We also talk about good support of the breast. The mother's arm should be able to support the lower side of the baby, just as you see it in the video. That's how it is supposed to be. So when you are breastfeeding, if you want to breastfeed successfully, mind about 3 things. Mind about the good attachment, mind about the good positioning, and mind about the good support. There, if you do those 3 things, you'll breastfeed successfully.
Okay. So, Sarah, still, as our mothers are watching these videos, what are some of the challenge or the problems associated with poor positioning?
Poor positioning, I had already hinted on them.
Yeah.
That if the baby is not well positioned, even the swallowing will be difficult.
I mean to the mother. If maybe the mother doesn't position this baby, does it affect in any way, for example, milk production
Yes.
or what?
Yes, it will affect the production. Because if like I've seen mothers, they are breastfeeding, the baby is not well positioned, at the same time, they want to eat food, At the same time, they are tending to the husband. So the baby will not get enough breast milk. They will get tired because that posture is not good. And also the milk supply will not be adequate because the positioning is not good. So it affects both the baby and the mother. Yes,
Okay.
it is a challenge.
So these videos are actually showing our mothers how best you can do this practice, because they told us it is a practice.
Yes.
So how best you can do this and make this your discipline. Because remember, if you don't do the 3 that are shown in the video, 1, they will get back to you as a mother.
Yes.
If not to you, then to the child. So,
Also to the family.
and also to the family.
That's why we bring in the family to support. That is also another aspect that has been left only to the mother. There is need for social support from the family members, from the husband, from the other family members, the in-laws, and the community.
I
We
think
need to support this woman.
We first of all talk about how a husband can support the mother. We start with the husband because he's the immediate neighbor to the mother. Yeah. How can he support this breastfeeding mother?
Of course, support from the husband is in different aspects. There is social support, there is physical support, there is moral support. So it depends. Maybe the mother doesn't have porridge, just as we said, and then the husband is the financial manager. He can buy the porridge. But also, this mother, sometimes when they deliver, they are weak. You can support them. Maybe to sit up, maybe to put a pillow, and then you support them to hold the baby, and then the mother can be able to breastfeed. Yeah, anybody in the family can do that. Yes. And also to get enough rest. That is something which the family needs to take on. Before you say that some women want to show that they are very, very strong, but they end up dying or even letting the baby to get complications. So we need to see that these mothers have enough rest as they are breastfeeding, because they are not the same as they were before delivery. So they need that rest. They need rest. And this one can be provided to them if the family members, if the social structures around them are supportive enough. Yes.
So, Sarah, there is one other risk that I want you to talk about. We have, of course, we appreciate the fact that our mothers out there are working because of emancipation. Of course, very many mothers are taking on office work, and we realize that they're not given much time for as their labor, as their maternal leave. So you realize someone is given a month, and then the 2 months before they give birth, and the 2 months after giving birth. So the next month they have to go back to work, and they only breastfeed the children at night. But during the day, of course, there is to be brought out the breast signal, and then they buy tablets. And when they swallow those tablets, it is alleged that they dry up. I don't know whether they make the hormones mute or what, so that they don't feel that urge anymore. Isn't that so risky?
Actually, in the next show, we shall be talking about the challenges that affect breastfeeding mothers and how they should be mitigated. However, briefly, that is a very big problem, but it should not stop a mother from breastfeeding or from giving the baby breast milk. Nowadays, they are encouraging employers to have an area where mothers can breastfeed from. But see, if a mother is coming not far from her job, place of work, you can express breast milk and in a clean container and leave with the baby or the attendant to the baby to continue giving that child breast milk, such that you don't stop doing exclusive breastfeeding. You can express that milk, and maybe around midday, if you feel that the milk has again come, you can go back, breastfeed, and also express and leave it there. Then in the evening, you go back and breastfeed. So there are ways to address these challenges to make sure that children are breastfed, because it has been proved to be a very important aspect in a child's survival.
The good thing is that you've said that in the next sessions,
yes,
in one of the sessions we'll look at, that will be one of the things to look at. So, thank you so much for today's session. We are indeed grateful, and I believe you, the mother or the father or anyone who has watched, you are now the ambassador we are sending to go and now to take this message to your community. You can as well teach your mother, your sister, your friend how to breastfeed, just in case they have missed out this program. But of course, you can as well tell them to watch it on our YouTube channel, that is Family TV Uganda, or download our Family TV app. They'll of course find all these sessions there. Thank you so much, you who has been watching. And of course, at this time, we are signing out. But of course, Edwin Austin Mukalas is my name, Fatina Galenda, our sign language specialist, and of course, Sarah, who has taken us through the session, Jonah Jal, the producer, Bantam in transmission, and of course, Tony Santo on social media. And there is another very big crew behind this whole preparation, and we credit them. Thank you so much. And I hand you over to your weekend. But remember to enjoy responsibly and have a good night for today.